Guys, welcome back to HPL. Muzzy put his first win on the board here versus Dog, so now it's a 2-1 series. He needed 3 in a row, now he only needs 2 in a row. The journey of 1,000 steps begins, of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I guess the journey of 1,000 steps begins with 1 step too.
Hey, you know, potato, who cares? But yeah, we saw Dog actually queue up an interesting priest deck there. You know, I think we kind of gave him a little bit of flack for it, maybe. You know, I said I would have gone with a power strategy, but I believe it wasn't that bad of a choice considering, you know, Muzzy is considered to be a very aggressive player. It would have been very good versus some of his earlier strategies. And let's see what they're going to be bringing in for Game 4. We're going to have Game 4 here, Dog versus Muzzy. Yeah, guys, get out there on Twitter. Use that hashtag HPL. We want to know exactly what you thought of Dog's last choice because I think it was extremely interesting. Here, looks like we got ourselves a little Rogue versus Hunter, and not who you think is playing Rogue. Dog, of course, very known for it, but he's playing Hunter here. So both of these guys looking for very powerful strategies. You know, early game control over the board, and Dog's going to be looking to push damage, while Muzzy's going to be looking to stifle that. Yeah, this is one of my favorite matchups in Hearthstone. Both of these, I think, are very tier 1, very, very solid decks, and it's very interesting to watch them play against each other because they play so opposite of each other. The Hunter deck is trying to get as much board presence as early as possible, push early advantages, and do a ton of damage, while the Rogue deck is trying to also get board advantage, but while controlling you at the same time. 2 cards we don't always see in these Rogue decks so far, right off the bat. Dr. Boom, and then Senjin Shieldmaster. Why is he playing the Senjin in his spot, do you think? He's probably, okay, so we've seen a couple people not play South Sea Deckhand lately, and you've seen a lot of 4-drops that can win that stuff, because it can be the weak spot for Rogue sometimes if they don't have a Pilot Shredder, and doing nothing on turn 4 is weird.
Oh,
and sometimes you
look at that.
Summon a random Huffer.
Yeah, curious exactly how this is going to go. That is... That
was a pretty good pickup of Backstab here, by the way.
It's an okay one. I was looking at it, I was like, oh, that's a really good draw right now.
Yeah. So he's going to backstab this Huffer here, but he already took the 4 damage from it, so he got a lot of value off his Animal Companion there. Now it's going to be interesting to see, ooh, is he going to SI Agent and backstab here?
Well, I would assume if he's going to backstab, he's going to couple it with the SI7 agent. And so when he backstabs this Mad Scientist first, he wants to trigger this trap with a dagger. And so now he gets the news this is not, in fact, an explosive trap. And the SI7 agent comes down afterwards. So now whether this is like Snake Trap or something like Freezing Trap, that's where he's really looking to figure out exactly what this is.
And you're going to see Muzzy actually use his weapon to kill the... Oh, no, I'm sorry, he went face. It looked like he was going to kill the SI7 here. This is not the typical minion you want to get freezing trapped all the time. If he gets some extra value out of it late in the game, that could be pretty good for Muzzy here if Dog's trap returns it to his hand.
Just going to go ahead and play this Senjin. No attack there. I like it. Making sure that he's patient instead. Lotheb's going to hit the board, though, and challenge that Senjin directly. And there's no sap here. Pilot Shredder's the only play. It's the only thing they can do.
Well, you know, it's actually still a decent play from Muzzy here. Usually, Lotheb is the last card you ever want to see as a Rogue player. Sometimes when they play it, your entire hand becomes unplayable. You have to pay full retail for your stuff instead of, you know, these cheap, you know, combo stuff that you get to do. And when you have to pay that much for your stuff, you're not going to be able to play more than 1 spell in a turn, and your spells are very underwhelming if you only play 1 in a turn.
Yeah, still not triggering this freezing trap either. Really trying to get this bow charge you know, absorbed here. The other thing that's not happening too is they're not allowing their opponent to utilize another freezing trap should that be in their hand. So the fact they're exercising patience, there is a little bit of sacrifice involved with it, but is that worth it at that point?
Yeah, it is an interesting point, like not attacking into the freezing trap here. Like, when do you actually want to proc it? What creature do you want to proc it with? And it is actually hurting Dog here. He has another copy of freezing trap in his hand that, you know, he can't cast while we assume it's a freezing trap.
Yeah, but well, this is one of those big turns.
I was going to say, we're going to see an Unleash the Hounds from Dog here. I was wondering if he's going to play the Knife Juggler or not first. I just assume that you have to, because he's not going to ever get a better board to cast a Knife Juggler on. He also doesn't know there's a Dr. Boom in Muzzy's hand.
Well, right. The only other situation that was really here, I think, a big occurrence is if he wanted to play Unleash the Hounds and then go ahead and use Kill Command. Since he has that Lotheb on the board to challenge that Senjin, the Kill Command can go ahead and stick around in his hand. So this kind of board presence, the only thing that's really scary about it is that you're leaving yourself in a position where Blade Flurry could be devastating, but you're going to see him go ahead and push for damage here. He's going to start to utilize his hero power a lot. And with that Glaive Zuka and that Kill Command that's in there, this is his big push for damage right now. So Muzzy has to figure out a way to get this board under control. And with this kind of hand, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, you have to believe from Muzzy's end that when you see him push for you, damage that way, and he finally gives up the last charge on his bow, that you have to know that something's up in his hand. Either has another weapon, you're going to take damage from it, or you're probably going to die to a kill command.
Yeah, really the only thing he has that he can do here to take care of this board is he can Blade Flurry and then make a dagger and then Blade Flurry again. But not only are you losing both your Blade Flurries that way, your weapon's not up next turn, you're not getting any board development out of it, and you're still sitting next to this freezing trap wondering when you're going to get the kill, when you're going to get to take that out and actually start to attack your opponent.
Now, Blade Flurry is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful card in this deck, and it's not the kind of card you want to be casting twice in a turn usually, though.
Yeah, the old Phantom Knives that doesn't draw a card is not a very strong play with that, especially when you're kind of getting towards that low life total point. So gonna go ahead and use the freezing, or proc this freezing trap straight away now. Can you imagine that was like misdirection? And he's like, oh, dang it!
Yeah, I would feel really got if that was misdirection.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of getting got, Wolf Rider is an excellent draw right now. So this is one of those hybrid hunter decks that we've been kind of seeing come into favor lately, really trying to apply a ton of pressure, and this was the turn to do it. Muzzy has to draw a heal right here, and even outside of that, I don't know how he deals with this Wolf Rider, because if he saps it, it's just going to get charged right back at him.
Yeah, he just took 8 and just has to know that he's going to be dead. It looks like Muzzy's going to be... It doesn't look like Muzzy's going to get out of this one. He's going to fall to the 1-3 here and fall to Dog in the first match.
Yeah, so that's going to do it. Dog is going to close out this series 3-1. Excellent choices of strategy for him. I kind of want to revisit that Priest play and talk about it a little bit more, because that was really the biggest talk I think of this match was that Priest deck. So he queued it up here, and that strategy is really targeted at sort of those early game aggression kinds of plays. Something, if your opponent is like playing Mech Mage, for instance, if you play a Death Lord and then Velen's chosen it, it's a pretty big nightmare for them to have to deal with. It can kill a lot of minions, and then they can continue to use that hero power to keep that one healthy. So those kinds of combinations of cards is really what he's looking for. But again, touching on people playing those kind of interesting strategies, the HPL format is, kind of reflective of ranked play, where you can play anything you want and change your deck however you want between games, but you're not playing against random ladder players anymore. You are playing against professionals.
Yeah, and Muzzy is no joke. He's very decorated, very good player. You saw him play great in this matchup, and you saw some of his draws didn't really work out. His deck choices were actually pretty good. He came in through a couple curveballs. He didn't play just aggressive decks. He didn't get targeted by Dog, but Dog had great deck choices, played well, and you know what? He got the victory 3-1.
Yeah, only game that Dog dropped was the one that he chose to play one of those weirder strategies in. Outside of that, able to close it out. So great series from him. He's now up to 2-0 here in HPL. Muzzy moves down to 0-1, but he's got 14 more matches ahead of him, so still plenty of time to get him a winning record. Guys, when we come back, we're going to have an interview with Dog, get his thoughts in this matchup, maybe ask him a little bit about that Priest deck and how he came to that build. So when we come back, that interview with Dog. You're watching Hearthstone on PvP Live.